How I would start my goat farm. If I wanted to start goat farming today with very little money, the first thing I would do is calm myself down. Many beginners fail not because goat farming is hard, but because they panic. They rush to buy goats, rush to build houses, and rush to sell. That is how money gets wasted. With little money, I would understand that every decision I make must help the farm grow, not destroy it. This is exactly how I would move step by step. Let's get started. In the first place, I would start with the right mindset. The first thing I would work on is my mindset. When money is small, mindset is everything. I would remind myself that goat farming is not magic. It is daily work, patience, and learning. I would stop comparing myself with big farmers who have hundreds of goats. I would understand that every successful farmer once started small. Even if I start with 2 or 3 goats, I would treat them like a business, not like pets. I would also accept that mistakes will happen. A goat may fall sick, a kid may die. That does not mean failure, it means I am learning. What matters is improving every time. I would also learn before spending any money. Before spending even one coin, I would invest my time in learning. Learning is free, but mistakes are expensive. I would visit nearby goat farmers and observe carefully. I would watch how they feed their goats, how they house them, and how they handle sickness. I would ask questions, even simple ones. Most farmers are happy to share their experiences. I would also learn about the common diseases in my area and the seasons when goats do well or struggle. This knowledge would guide every decision I make later. In addition, I would start with very few goats. With little money, starting big is dangerous. I would start with 3 to 5 goats, mostly females. Starting small allows me to give attention to each goat. I would learn how goats behave, how they eat, and how they show signs of sickness. Managing 5 goats well is better than struggling with 20 goats. This will also avoid pressure. Small numbers mean less stress, less feeding cost, and fewer losses while I am still learning. Another thing I would do is to avoid buying a male goat. At first, male goats are expensive to buy and expensive to feed. As a beginner with little money, I would avoid buying one at the start. Instead, I would plan to borrow a male from another farmer or pay a small mating fee when my females are ready. This saves money and reduces responsibility. Later, when my farm grows and I understand breeding better, I can then buy my own male. Also, I would buy local and adapted goats. I would not chase big or foreign breeds just because they look attractive on the internet. Many beginners lose money that way. They get motivated by the goats they see on the internet, forgetting that different goats adapt to different climate. I would choose goats that already survive well in my area. Local goats and crossbreeds know the climate, the feeds, and the diseases. They may look small at first, but they are strong and reliable. For a beginner with little money, strong goats are better than fancy goats. I would not stop there. I would also take my time when buying goats. I would never rush when buying goats. I would observe each goat carefully. I would check the eyes, the coat, the movement, and the appetite. I would avoid goats with diarrhea, coughing, or weak legs. I would also ask about the goat's age and breeding history. Buying healthy goats from the beginning is very important. This saves money, time, and stress of treatment. I would also build a very simple but clean goat house, also known as the pen. I would not build an expensive goat house. Expensive does not always mean good. I would use local and available materials and focus on 3 things: dryness, ventilation, and cleanliness. The house would be raised from the ground to avoid dampness and parasites. I would make sure rain cannot enter and wastes can be cleaned easily. A simple, clean house prevents most diseases and losses. The next thing I would do is to feed my goats using low cost options. Feeding is one of the biggest costs in goat farming, so I would be very smart here. I would use grass, tree leaves, crop residues, and other locally available feeds. I would learn which trees are safe and nutritious for goats. I would also make sure goats always have clean water. I would provide salt or mineral lick because it improves appetite, growth, and reproduction. Feeding well does not mean feeding expensively. Most importantly, I would focus strongly on prevention than curing. Treating sick goats is expensive. Preventing sickness is cheap. I would deworm my goats regularly and vaccinate them against common diseases in my area. I would keep the goat house clean and dry every day. If I notice one goat acting strange, I would separate it immediately. Early action saves the whole herd. I would also breed carefully and patiently. I would not rush breeding. I would wait until my female goats are strong and mature. I would allow mating at the right time and keep simple records. I would note mating dates and expected kidding dates. This helps me prepare and avoid surprises. Good care during pregnancy increases the chance of twins and healthy kids. I would also not forget to protect and care for kids. Kids are the future of the farm. I would make sure they drink colostrum immediately after birth. I would keep them warm, dry, and safe from diseases. I would also protect them from coldness, rain, and predators. Losing kids is losing future income. Lastly, I would sell slowly and reinvest. I would not rush to sell goats. I would sell mature males, extra goats, or older ones. I would wait for high demand seasons when prices are better. Most of the money I earn, I would put it back into the farm. Slow reinvestment is how small farms grow into big farms. Final message. If I had very little money, this is exactly how I would start goat farming. I would not rush. I would not copy blindly. I would build slowly and wisely. Goat farming rewards patience, discipline, and good management. If you manage a few goats well today, tomorrow you will manage many goats with confidence. Thanks for watching. Let's meet in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss our next video.